Hi, Karen here. Thanks so much for popping by today. I have a process video to share with you today. To kick things off, I'm showing some of the work I did off camera. I have cut files from a cut to you and have fussy cut out flowers from some pattern paper, which I'll talk about later. The background I used for the leaves started with a piece of pattern paper, which I sprayed with several shimmers and Lindy Gang sprays. And when I say several, I mean 9 different shades of green and blue to get the colour I really wanted. At one stage, I really didn't think it was going to happen. I decided I wanted to have a cascading layout from the top to the bottom and started by using a script stencil from No.2. I love the texture that modelling paste gives and love how liquid slides across the paste around and in throughout the gaps. Check out how this colour shimmer dust works. It's a darkish blackish colour in the jar, and once you hit it with water, oh my goodness, wow, the colour just bursts out. You don't need to use very much either. I had the tiniest little bit and that spread out, and really I had way too much on the page to create this background. The colour I used today is called Peacock, and I thought it would contrast the pinks of the flowers and the greens of the leaves really well. Added water, used my brush to help it spread around the texture paste and move across the cardstock, which I had put gesso over as well. I didn't say that before. Once it was dry, I watered down some acrylic paint and made some splatters as well. But in actual fact, it wasn't really dry, and most of the splatters mushed into the paper, so the paint itself. So I left that for later and moved on. While I'm here, I want to say a huge thank you for all the support of my first video. I was totally blown away with your likes, your comments, and subscribing. It was really absolutely amazing. I hope I can give you a little inspiration as I continue to create these. The photos I'm using today is of a friend's daughter, Shelby. I've known her since she was born. I'm extremely proud of her and love her very, very much. I scrap her and her sister a lot, so you'll see them quite a lot, I think. I couldn't decide whether I wanted black and white. As you could have seen from what you've just seen, I went back and forward a few times, but I ended up deciding on black and white. The pattern paper I'm using with the fussy cuts are from No.2, which is an Australian company. They have mixed media products and scrapbooking paper, stencils and stamps and dies and all that sort of thing. I joined their kit club last month actually, and this is their Bohemian Bliss collection. It's so pretty. I have made another layout of this one as well. I spent a huge amount of time moving things around the page. I started thinking the flowers were too big, but I really wanted to make them work. I added the black and white fussy cut flowers, and I really like how they broke up the peacock colour and pink flowers, and it drew the black and white from the photo. What I actually did as well is I did start wondering whether I needed to do some more, because I only had those 2 clusters and I really felt it wasn't right. So I went off, and as you can see, I've backed my photo. I distressed the edges. I used some tissue paper and some pattern paper, and I placed some foam on the back as well to give that added bit of dimension. I have also popped up some of the flowers on foam as well, just to give this layout heaps of dimension. So I was still sitting here while I was building this going, there is something not quite right, and it's really about the fact that I normally do my layouts in thirds. So a lot of people talk about the triangle of thirds, and I really felt that I was missing that. So I went off and looked for some other things as well while I was still thinking about that. So I grabbed my Charms Creation little box that I have. Charms Creation is a Australian little store as well, run by Charmaine Co. She's an awesome scrapper as well, so you really should check her out. She handmakes flowers, hearts, and all sorts of shapes with felt and other products as well. So I settled on this peacock colour heart, and that love title is from a Christmas collection of thickers that I had in my stash. So while I was doing that, I really decided I did need to do something extra. So I thought about, I had a separate cut file of that rose and thought, well, should I put it underneath? What I ultimately do though is I do place some pieces on the top of the page, which you'll see in a moment, and I leave them sitting there for a couple of minutes just so I could really work it out. The other thing I noticed the most as well is that I think that the cluster at the top right-hand side was a little bit too heavy. So I removed the coloured flower, fussy cut flowers, and just left the cut file flower, which is a cut down version of the rose, some leaves, and the black and white photo. I felt that just gave it that little bit better structure. And once I was happy with that, I started sticking down all the pieces and all the layers. At the moment, I'm trialing the No.2 glue. Lots of people are talking about this No.2 glue, and I see it everywhere on YouTube. I'm not completely convinced yet, but actually I've never been really convinced of any glue. But I will admit it does work quite well with the foam against the mixed media, particularly when you've used gesso. Did I mention that before? I used gesso on my page? I really can't remember. So I stuck everything down and then started thinking about what else does this page need. It still needed something. So I was fussing around quite a bit with the leaves. Should I add some more flowers? What should I actually do? So I did end up cutting down that rose at the top and layered a few pieces there, including a leaf. But I left it there for a few minutes before gluing it down because I still wasn't quite sure. Was that what I needed? Honestly, I walked off for a bit and had a think. I pulled out my Tim Holtz tiny phrase sticker book, which always has something to put on a page. I very rarely can't find something to put on there by using this little book. I've got a few books of his actually, which I use quite a lot. So I found some stickers and worked through. So this is the final product. Here is the completed layout. I added some cotton. Here is the completed layout. I added some cotton to the top cluster in black and on the bottom right hand side of the photo as well. I added gold splatters and also some extra white splatters as well. There'll be some follow-up close-ups as well for you to have a look at. Again, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you've liked what you've seen, I would love it if you hit that like and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thanks so much again. See you again soon.